Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Capella Wellness. I'm so glad you're here today. Have you ever said yes to a project when you really wanted to say no? Or felt your stomach tighten when your phone buzzes with work messages during dinner? Maybe you've stayed late at the office again, wondering why it's so hard to just leave on time? If any of this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Today, we're diving into something that affects millions of workers worldwide: setting boundaries at work. And we're not just sharing tips. We're exploring the fascinating psychological research on assertiveness from around the globe, from Japan to Germany, from Australia to China. Because here's the truth: boundaries aren't about being difficult, they're about being healthy. And the science backs this up beautifully. Let's explore together. First, let's talk about what boundaries actually are and what they're not. Workplace boundaries are the psychological and emotional limits we set to protect our well being, energy, and personal time. They're the invisible lines that help us maintain a healthy relationship with our work. Now, here's something fascinating from international research. Boundaries look different across cultures, but their importance is universal. A groundbreaking 2024 study published in Current Psychology examined work non work boundary control across multiple countries and found that people who actively manage their boundaries experience significantly better mental health outcomes, regardless of their cultural background. But here's where it gets interesting. Research from Germany's Workplace Psychology Institutes shows that in cultures with strong work life separation norms, like many Scandinavian and German workplaces, boundaries are often structurally supported. Think mandatory vacation days and right to disconnect laws. Meanwhile, studies from Japan, published in the Journal of Nursing Management, reveal a different challenge. In collectivist cultures where group harmony is highly valued, Japanese researchers found that nurses and healthcare workers often struggled with assertiveness because saying no felt like letting the team down. The key insight? Boundaries aren't one size fits all, but the need for them is universal. And that's where assertiveness comes in. So, what exactly is assertiveness, and why does it matter so much? Assertiveness is the ability to express your thoughts, feelings, and needs clearly and respectfully, without aggression and without passivity. It's that sweet spot between being a doormat and being domineering. And the research on this is absolutely compelling. A comprehensive cross-cultural study published in 2024 in the European Journal of Applied Psychology examined 410 Chinese adults and 360 U.S. adults. The researchers discovered something remarkable. Assertiveness has both a linear and a curvilinear relationship with mental health. What does that mean? Well, people with moderate to high assertiveness showed better mental health outcomes, lower anxiety, better self-esteem, and reduced burnout. But here's the twist. Extremely high assertiveness without social sensitivity could actually backfire, especially in relationship-oriented cultures. Australian research from Stony Brook University adds another layer. Their 2017 review of assertiveness training, which analyzed decades of clinical psychology studies, found that assertiveness training is an evidence-based treatment that significantly improves self-esteem, reduced anxiety and depression, better workplace satisfaction, and improved interpersonal relationships. And here's something powerful from nursing research in Japan. A 2018 study in BMC Nursing showed that even brief assertiveness training, just a few focused sessions, led to long-term improvements in nurses' ability to speak up, set boundaries, and advocate for themselves and their patients. The science is clear. Assertiveness is a learnable skill that protects your mental health. Now, let's talk about what happens when we don't set boundaries, because understanding the stakes helps us prioritize our well being. Research from Germany's Workplace Psychology Studies, published in the International Journal of Stress Management, found that employees who couldn't regulate their work availability, those constantly on call, mentally and emotionally, showed significantly higher rates of burnout and exhaustion. A 2021 study in human relations examined job demands across multiple countries and found that the link between high job demands and burnout was strongest among workers who lacked boundary setting skills. In other words, boundaries act as a buffer against workplace stress. And here's something from cross-cultural research that might surprise you. A study comparing Malaysian, Filipino, Japanese, and U.S. workers found that regardless of cultural background, workers who couldn't assert their needs experienced lower job satisfaction, higher emotional exhaustion, increased physical health complaints, and strained personal relationships. The research from China and the U.S. shows similar patterns. Poor boundaries don't just affect your work life. They spill into your relationships, your sleep, your physical health, and your sense of self-worth. But here's the hopeful part. All of this is changeable. All right, let's get practical. Based on validated research from around the world, here are 6 evidence-based strategies for setting boundaries at work. Strategy 1. The respectful no technique. Research from Japan teaches us that assertiveness doesn't mean being blunt. Japanese assertiveness training emphasizes acknowledging the request, stating your boundary clearly, offering an alternative when possible. This approach honors relationship while protecting your limits. Strategy 2. The boundary script method. Columbia University research on assertiveness recommends preparing specific phrases such as, "I'm at capacity right now, but I can help you find someone who's available." Or, "I don't check emails after 7 p.m., but I'll respond first thing tomorrow." Or, "I need to leave by 6 today. Can we schedule this for tomorrow morning?" Practice these until they feel natural. The research shows that preparation reduces anxiety and increases a follow-through. Strategy 3. The work-non-work segmentation strategy. German and Scandinavian workplace studies emphasize creating clear separations. Physical boundaries. Separate work phone or turning off notifications after hours. Time boundaries. Specific start and end times that you communicate clearly. And mental boundaries. Transition rituals, like a walk or changing clothes, that signal work is over. A 2024 study in Current Psychology found that people who actively manage these boundaries reported better well-being during high-stress periods. Strategy 4. The assertive body language approach. Research across cultures shows that assertiveness isn't just about words. An assertive body language speaks much more. Maintain calm, steady eye contact. This is to be adjusted for varying cultural norms. Keep your posture open and grounded. Use a steady, clear voice tone, and avoid apologetic body language such as excessive nodding or shrinking. Studies from Malaysia and the Philippines found that body language often communicates more than words, especially in hierarchical workplaces. Strategy 5. The values clarification exercise. Australian research emphasizes knowing your why by writing down your top 3 personal values, such as family time, health, creativity, etc. So when a boundary decision feels hard, one can ask, does saying yes align with my values? This creates internal clarity that makes external communication easier. Lastly, strategy 6, the graduated exposure method. For those who find assertiveness terrifying, Japanese studies recommend starting small. Week 1. Set one tiny boundary. Leave on time one day. Week 2. Speak up in a low-stakes meeting. Week 3, decline a small request. Gradually build your assertiveness muscle. The research shows this incremental approach reduces anxiety and builds confidence sustainably. I know what some of you might be thinking, but what if I get fired? What if people think I'm difficult? Let's address this with research, not fear. A fascinating study published in the International Journal of Research found that assertive employees are often misinterpreted as aggressive, but this perception decreases significantly when assertiveness is paired with consistent professionalism, clear communication, and collaborative problem solving. Research from nursing studies across Asia and Australia shows that when healthcare workers learned assertiveness skills, their relationships with colleagues actually improved. Why? Because clear boundaries reduce resentment and passive aggressive behavior. And here's something powerful from self-esteem research published in BMC Nursing. Workers with higher assertiveness reported better relationships with supervisors, not worse. Healthy boundaries earn respect. The fear is real, but the research shows that respectful assertiveness strengthens professional relationships, not damages them. Beautiful souls. Here's what the global research tells us. Setting boundaries at work isn't selfish. It's self-preservation. It's not about being difficult. It's about being sustainable. And it's not a personality trait you're born with. It's a skill you can develop, no matter where you are in the world. Whether you're in Tokyo or Toronto, Singapore or Stockholm, the science is clear. Assertiveness protects your mental health, improves your relationships, and makes you better at your job. Start small. Choose one strategy from today's video. Practice it this week. Notice how it feels. Remember, you deserve to have boundaries. Your well-being matters. And every time you honor your limits, you're not just helping yourself, you're modeling healthy behavior for everyone around you. Thank you so much for being here today. If this resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Until next time, take care of yourself. You're worth it.